Speed will always beat perfection. I have a really good buddy of mine who is just finishing up his last flights to become an Air Force pilot. And we were talking the other day, and he was telling me how every single decision he makes comes down to just seconds. Um, you know, that could be life or death, which within seconds, right? And so in a lot of our coaching and consulting businesses, it may not be life or death, like my friend who's about to become a fighter pilot for the United States Air Force, but it can be the life or death of our business. And I wanted to just show you, I'm going to show you with this marker. I'm going to show you a concept that we learned. We developed a training for the United States Air Force. And in that research, and as we were putting together the training for them, we came across a man by the name of John Boyd. And he was a really influential fighter pilot. And he was really influential in coming up with theories and ways to basically save lives and to be able to perform better and in combat situations, dogfights primarily. And so through that training, he came up with, and through his experiences, he came up with this concept. And this is just a simple version of what his final version was, but it's called the OODA Loop. And OODA stands for observe, orient, decide, and act. And so in marketing, I believe this to be one of the most important principles, and one of the things that we believe here at Divulge Marketing is that the faster you can go through this process, the faster and the more revolutions you can make in this process, the faster you're going to get results, not only in your marketing, but in your business, whether it be sales or whatever it is. So let me just explain what each of these means. So to observe, take for instance yourself. Let's say that you jump on a sales call in your business and you observe that it didn't go so well. And what you noticed is it didn't go so well because you jumped in, you were all business right out of the gate. You were nervous and you didn't establish really any rapport. And so though the script or though the conversation may have went really well, they weren't 100% sold, and maybe they had a lot of questions about not only your integrity or maybe who you are as a person. They wanted to see references, they wanted to see case studies because you didn't actually resonate with them. And so in this scenario, the observation could be, wow, I noticed that when I take calls and I don't establish rapport, that I get a lot of questions at the end that they want to see more and they want to learn a little bit more about me, and they need references and all this stuff that can be kind of high maintenance that doesn't help the sales process. So then what you're going to do is you're going to start to orient, and you're going to come up with solutions of how to do that. Okay, well, in the first 5 minutes of the call, I'm going to focus that call on asking them questions and letting them tell me and ask me questions about who I am and what my experience has been, and talk about the weather and all the other fun stuff, okay? Or favorite football team or whatever it might be, that there's going to be a conversation and a connection on a personal level so that further, that's actually, that you want to work with them. Then you make that decision that, okay, so based on all of these observations and based on all these things I'm kind of looking at the way that I'm going to orient, I'm going to make a decision that that's what I am going to do, is in the first actually 3 minutes, I'm going to establish rapport, and then I take action by actually doing that, and the cycle continues into observation again. And this is true of creating content for Facebook, just like this content that you're viewing right now. It can be true of anything really in your business, but that the concept of high velocity marketing is that we're never just sitting on just spending money on the same video over and over and over again without testing something, without looking and observing the market and seeing how they're responding with it, and are they engaging with the content, and how well are they engaging with it. And the faster we can make those observations and the faster we can make that feedback loop, the more repetitions we're going to have and the more action that's going to take place. And so I've learned this through sales calls, event planning, marketing, running, $1 million in ad spend over the last couple of years in our business, for clients. We've followed this principle over and over and over again, and it's one of our core beliefs now that the faster you can go in marketing, you will rise to the top. Your competition, the people who are not willing to spend time to get good at something, those are the people who are going to get stagnant and they're going to get stuck. I was just reading a book the other day about, I think it was Atomic Habits, and he talks about how when there's this photography class, and half the class, they were focused on studying all about photography. And their final grade was one picture that was going to determine their entire grade. And then, so one group was just all about studying the concepts and theories behind photography. And then the other group went out and took pictures. And as you can imagine, by the end, everybody turned their stuff in, and the group, or the portion of the class that did the best in the class, was the group who went out and took action. And so they would observe how their photography went, they oriented, they made decisions and took action, and they followed that loop over and over and over and over again. And just like any habit or anything that we're trying to create in our businesses or in our personal lives, this is a principle that lives on wherever you are. And so if you want to be part of an amazing group that practices the OODA Loop on a daily basis, then I want you to click on the link and join our Facebook group, the OODA Marketing Method. Advanced Facebook strategies, techniques, hiring tips, all sorts of ways to grow your coaching, your consulting business, absolutely free. Jump in the group, and we'll see you on the other side.